Guys, there's two parts to this story that I'm going to lay out for you. This first part has been reported. The second part, only I have the information to it, and we're going to get to it in a second. It's an exclusive for this channel. Okay, and I want you to share that information far and wide when we get to it. But let's start with this. Let me give you the appetizer. We're going to ease into it. So this is in Newsweek, and this is from a little while back now, but I missed the story, and it's actually connected to the second part of the story. Democrats block high schoolers from meeting with Marianne Williamson. Wow. So let me give you the specifics as to how this unfolded. Presidential candidate Marianne Williamson wants access to the disaffected young voters many believe will prove critical to Democrat success in 2024 if she hopes to mount a successful challenge to President Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination. National Democrats, however, seem to be denying her that opportunity. In a post on Twitter earlier this week, Williamson claimed her campaign had been rebuffed in their request to meet with several chapters of the High School Democrats of America, claiming their members were told they could not engage with any candidates other than President Biden. A board member with the High School Democrats of America confirmed the decision in an email to Newsweek. They're being brazen about it, saying they were mirroring policies set forward by the Democratic National Committee, of which they are affiliated. Earlier this year, the DNC indicated they would not sanction a debate between Biden and other candidates. So in other words, taking an anti-democratic move, at this point is moving forward with the incumbent president as their party's de facto nominee for president. So they're just deciding, hey, it's over. We're not even going to acknowledge the reality that we're having a race right here. We're going to pretend that it's over and just ignore all the other candidates. Okay. The youth branch of their organization, board members claimed, is no different. Quote, the High School Democrats of America are affiliated with the DNC as we represent their youth branch. So Holly Vidula, the organization's communications director, told Newsweek, thus, just like the DNC is backing President Biden, so are we. Therefore, our state chapters are not going to be involved with the Williamson campaign or any other candidate's campaigns besides Biden's. Okay, well, I got news for you. Marianne Williamson wasn't asking for the Young Democrats of America to be involved with her campaign. Marianne Williamson just wanted to meet with Young Democrats of America to tell them her policy vision and her ideas because, you know, she's campaigning and she's running for president whether or not you like it. It doesn't matter how you feel about that. You don't even have to like Marianne Williamson. The bottom line is, these are unnecessary, egregious, authoritarian roadblocks that are being put up to prevent her from doing the basics of campaigning. In no way, shape, or form is that fair. In no way, shape, or form is that democracy. And remember, it's the Democratic Party that just came off an election. They were harping away at the idea that Republicans hate democracy, us Democrats love democracy. Look at Trump. He handpicked election denier candidates. It's a litmus test on the right to say the 2020 election was rigged and it was stolen. And we believe in democracy. We're the adults. We're the serious people. Well, it turns out, oops, no, we don't believe in democracy, and we're going to try to rig it and put our thumb on the scale against Marianne Williamson. Guys, I can't stress this enough. You don't even have to like Marianne Williamson to look at this and say, you know what, this is wrong. This is wrong. They're basically pulling the strings behind the scenes to try to put up roadblocks on purpose to nip any chances she has in the bud. And by the way, to Bernie Sanders, to AOC, to Ilhan Omar, to others out there who are supposed to be the left flank of the Democratic Party, where are you? Are you going to say something about this? Are you okay with authoritarian tactics and anti-democratic moves, even though you're in the Democratic Party? Are you okay with that? I'm just asking. Because obviously, if you know this is happening and you're silent about it, that means you're tacitly endorsing it. You can't release a tweet. You can't release a statement saying the Young Democrats of America should be allowed to meet with Marianne Williamson. You can't do that. But as I said, this is just the appetizer. So now let me tell you guys about the main event. This is exclusive reporting. I normally don't do original reporting. I'm a commentator. I take news stories and give you the facts that other people have gathered, and then I give you my take on it. But I'm currently in a position where I'm the only one with this information who's any part of the media whatsoever. So I have to share this with all of you. So we just got news the other day that not only did the DNC block Marianne from meeting with Young Democrats, but Marianne Williamson was also blocked from South Carolina and New Hampshire Democrat voter data files. So let me explain this. The data files are, more or less available to any Democratic candidate who wants them. Now, the process is a little different in different states, but the bottom line is, you're a Democrat, you're running for office, you can get access to those voter files. Well, guess what? The campaign has been trying for months to do this. In the case of South Carolina in particular, they even came up with a contract where the campaign is to pay $2,500 to get access to those voter data files. Now, I don't know if that's just $2,500 is just the first payment or it's the total payment, but either way, there's a contract. The Marianne Williamson campaign paid $2,500 to get voter data files for New Hampshire Democrats. And then even after having a contract, sending in money, they ghosted them. They took the money, they pieced out, and they didn't send any voter data files. Now, let me explain something. These voter data files, they're necessary because without it, how are you going to do basic field work? How are you going to do canvassing? How are you going to reach out to potential voters? It's nearly impossible, right? To do field work, to do on-the-ground stuff, which is necessary in a lot of these states. So in a super weaselly way, there were conversations going, they agreed on a contract, they sent in a payment, and then after the payment was sent, boom, ghosted, gone. Now, in the case of New Hampshire, a similar thing is going on. There wasn't a contract there and there wasn't money sent there. But in the case of New Hampshire, basically they've been given the runaround. The Marianne Williamson campaign has been given the runaround. Well, oh yeah, well, we want to get you the voter data. We're going to get you the voter data, but there's a legal procedure and process that you go through steps A, B, and C, and, you know, it takes a while to do it. Now, I've had a conversation with somebody who's a state government official for the Democratic Party in another state, and they've explained to me in no uncertain terms, this isn't a process that takes weeks. This isn't a process that takes months. This is a process that takes a day or two. And right now, we're weeks removed from the first payment being sent in South Carolina, and now calls aren't being returned, emails aren't being returned. So in other words, not only are they putting up another authoritarian roadblock, the Democratic Party in South Carolina actually may have stolen money from the Marianne Williamson campaign. In New Hampshire, they keep saying, oh, we're waiting for a waiver to be signed. There's no waiver. There's no waiver. So look, I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but it certainly seems like there's been some phone calls made behind the scenes from top-level DNC officials, from Democratic Party leadership, where they say, hey, X-nay on helping Marianne Williamson scam. Not allowed to do it in no way, shape, or form. And if you do it, there will be consequences. So this is what it looks like inside a party structure that is acting in an authoritarian way to prevent any challenge to Biden whatsoever. Any challenge at all. You don't even have to like Marianne Williamson. You don't even have to like RFK. I'm not a fan of RFK. I despise the guy. You should still be arguing for a fair process. In fact, if you love Biden so much, you're so convinced he's unbeatable and he's wonderful, that's all the more reason to have a fair process. He should win easy, right? Okay, have a fair process. Stop putting up roadblocks. Do the right thing every step of the way. And then Biden will win anyway. And, you know, the people who are backing Biden will be all happy about it. And by the way, it'll also give Biden the necessary practice with debates and otherwise to do a better job in a general election against Republicans. Instead, now it's going to be, super long gap between him debating and the last time he debated. Don't you want to sharpen those skills a little bit? But nonetheless, here we are. So it's a very similar thing, I'm sure, that Bernie Sanders dealt with. And look, I'm sure there are people out there who say, well, see, that's what you get for running in the Democratic Party. You know, this is to be expected. To an extent, it is to be expected. But that doesn't mean it's right. And furthermore, as rigged as it is from doing this within the Democratic Party, the Green Party doesn't even have ballot access in some places. And there's going to be definitely no debate between a Green Party candidate and Joe Biden or a Democratic candidate at all. There's not even the prayer of it. At least there's the prayer of it if we keep pushing enough, maybe from within the Democratic Party. The most you could ever hope to get is like 5%. Well, no, we want to win, and we want to win right now because we need to win right now. So we could all just sit back and relax and say, hey, this is par for the course. Or we can mobilize and get into action and take this injustice and use it to fuel us to fight harder for Marianne Williamson. I know that that's how it's going to make me react, because I'm not just going to sit back and watch them do the same old dirty tricks and act like it's okay and act like it's fair. No, she deserves those voter data files like any other candidate would be able to get. She deserves them. She deserves to speak to the young Democrats of America. Now, by the way, I want everybody to call the South Carolina Democratic Party phone number and leave a message and tell them what you think of this. Now, I want you to be respectful. I want you to be kind. It's very possible that whoever listens to the messages is not even involved in what's happening here in any way, shape, or form, so you don't want to like misdirect your anger. You understand what I'm saying? But be clear. Be kind, but be clear. Marianne Williamson deserves those voter data files. She paid for it. Did you just rob her? Did you just steal her money? This is the campaign's money. Are these the kind of dirty tricks that people are going to play? The number is 803-799-7798. That's the South Carolina Democratic Party phone number. 803-799-7798. That's the phone number. Tell them this is unacceptable. Give her the voter data files that the campaign paid for. We're not going to take this laying down, right? We're not going to lay in a chalk outline of ourselves on the ground. Oh, there's nothing we could do. Oh, this is how they act. Well, it shouldn't be. And we should do something to try to stop that. We should fight back. Let's be clear. This is another attempt to rig the primary by acting like there isn't a primary. By preventing her from doing very basic things that any campaign would be allowed to do. This is what we're up against. And I want to reiterate, this doesn't mean you should be nihilistic. This doesn't mean you should be a doomerist. It means you should fight harder. It means you should get more involved. It means you should donate to Marianne Williamson's campaign. It means you should get out there and knock on doors for her, canvass for her, whatever it may be. Because I got news for you. There's a reason why they're trying to get her out of the process. There's a reason why. They don't want young people hearing her voice. There's a reason why they don't want her to have access to the voter data files. Because they're afraid, wow, if people really see her, maybe Biden is in trouble. Maybe Marianne will win the nomination. It almost reminds me of that scene from that Hillary documentary where when Bernie went on a string of winning states in 2016 in the primary, the insiders in the Hillary campaign were like, holy cow, Bernie Sanders is going to be the Democratic nominee. Let's give them that moment when it comes to Marianne, too. Don't take this laying down. I just told you the phone number. Give them a call. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.